Welcome back, learners. Last session we have discussed from Unit 3 Health and Nutrition of the Tribals, and in this session we are going to discuss the various dimensions of tribal health in India and what are the factors influencing health and nutrition of the tribal. India is a signatory to the Alma Ata World Health Organization Declaration of 1978 and committed to attaining the goal of health for all by 2018 through primary health care approach. However, it seems to be a distant dream seeing the present health scenario of the country. Therefore, it is necessary to realize how complex the subject is. Overall, an average Indian's health is inferior to his Western and many Asian counterparts. The health of the average present day tribal is poorer. The time when tribal was considered synonymous with a healthy human being, some writers have dubbed this idea as a myth. However, in order to proceed to examine the health of the tribal communities, it is well to recognize it as a product of complex interplay of several forces and factors, some of our physical environment, socio-economic state, nutritional availability and dietary habits, psychosocial culture, health culture and health related behavior, mortality and morbidity patterns, genetic disease and disorders, tribal medicine, health delivery systems. Now let's have a brief discussion on some of the vital factors which are influencing the tribal health. Firstly, when we talk about the physical environment, it has a profound impact on health in multiple ways. In the case of tribal communities, it has more importance as they have a direct and meaningful relationship with nature. They also derive their means of subsistence from primary sectors like land and forest. They are dependent on the raw natural resources provided by nature in their surroundings. But today, such balance with nature is not very common. By and large, ecosystems have suffered degradation, impairing their viability to support rising population of the tribal communities, mainly on account of depredations of some non-tribal sections. This factor is of importance and has been contended with. Now, another factor is the socio-economic factor. Next to availability of resources is the factor of socio-economic organization of a group. It has been observed that relations within a tribal group, particularly a village community, have generally been permeated by principle of equity tending towards a socialistic order, ensuring minimal nutritional levels for all members. The tribal societies have often taken care of the weak and the destitute. Instances have been cited where the entire village production of grains, etc., was distributed among the members. Such communitarian organizational cum distributive practices have been withering under the impact of the current individualistic capitalistic trends. Another important factor is the nutritional availability and dietary habits. Within the framework of availability of food and nutrition, we must take note of social heritage and dietary habits of tribals. As in respect of any other society, tribal diet is regulated by certain norms and traditions. For instance, the Saro of Orissa regards drinking milk as taboo. Under the influence of the caste society, some communities have turned vegetarian like the Tana Bhagat of Bihar and certain Gonds of Chhattisgarh. Nevertheless, a large number of tribal communities are eclectic in their approach to food, which is derived from farm, that is agricultural products, as well as forest, catering to both plant and animal nutrition. The unfortunate fact today is that there has been depletion of both tribal agricultural land and forest. Despite legal and administrative measures, a sizable percentage of the land has slipped away from the tribals. Further, it is well known that deforestation after independence has taken place on a big scale and for this reason and otherwise there has been large scale destruction of wildlife. So this lead to shrinking of the resources, had devastating shrinking of these resources has had devastatingly poisonous and depleting effect on availability of food for the tribal. Further, there has been curtailment in the nutrition which went into the tribal human system through homemade alcoholic beverages. In overall results, social and medical scientists have reported high incidence of nutritional deficiency among vulnerable segments, namely infants, children, pregnant women and nursing mothers. Next, moving on to the genetic disease and disorders. This is another important factor. There are two genetic disorders, namely sickle cell anemia and G6PD deficiency, which is found to occur in high frequencies in scheduled tribe populations in Indian subcontinent. Both male and female were equally affected in the case of sickle cell anemia, whereas males were more affected than females in G6PD deficiency cases. The sickle cell disease was found in 72 districts of central, western and southern India. There were more than 35 tribal population groups showing a frequency of more than 19%. The interlinkage of some genetic characteristics with the environment, specific disease endemicity and therapeutic problems has to be understood. It appears that some degree of documentation of the nature and extent in breeding among some tribal communities has been done, but many more tribal groups need yet to be studied. Now, another important factor is the tribal medicine. The tribal systems of medicine, broadly speaking, depend on herbal and psychosomatic lines of treatment. Inadequate attention was given to tribal medicine. Prejudice should not cloud our approach. There is a need to delve into them for two reasons. One, to gain access to the knowledge which is this section of humanity possesses and make the best use of it to their advantage for healthcare and development. Second, in the light of the international protocol seeking to take away this knowledge for profit, it is important to retrieve and preserve the tribal medicine. Hence, intensive and extensive research should be taken up in tribal medicine to open up new frontiers. Now, moving on to the next important factor is the health delivery systems. If we look at the design of the health delivery systems in the tribal areas, it needs to conform to the socio-economic conditions, morbidity patterns, demographic patterns, terrain and climate, and other indicators like nutrition status, life expectancy, disability rates and alcoholism, etc. It should not be just a replica of what obtains in the other rural areas of the country. The preventive approaches should be given priority over the curative approaches due to lack of infrastructure and specialized technology. The immunization programs for infants and children and various other prophylactic programs can pay rich dividend. Secondly, the type of healthcare personnel required needs consideration. The cultural differences demand posting of the right type inhospitable condition of the tribal areas drive away the usual run of medical and paramedical staff. As a result, health institutions remain unmanned along with drugs and equipment in short supply. If we look at the perception of health and health seeking behavior among the tribal people world over is intertwined with a lot of factors. The traditional beliefs, practices, nature of interaction with the physical environment and changing social, cultural and economic domain. The tribal population world over has been exposed to a rapidly changing world around them, the depleted natural resources on which they are dependent and alien culture of monetary economy. The tribal people are mostly unable to cope with these new situations. Their social and cultural customs are in transition whereas in socio-economic front they are lagging far behind from others. Such incompatibility has made the tribal people more vulnerable to several other aspects. Healthcare issue is one of such major areas that need to be addressed on war footing. Among several health problems faced by the tribal groups, the problem of malnutrition and undernutrition is seen as a direct consequence of socio-economic disorganization of tribal societies. While there seems to be a vague consensus amongst policymakers and tribal communities have poor health and restricted access to health care, there are still no comprehensive policies that meet this need, and there is no reliable data about the state of tribal health. The tribal health care in India usually falls within the ambit of rural health care. The assumption that the problems and needs of the tribal people are the same as that of rural population is incorrect. The difference in terrain, environment, social systems and culture all lead to tribal communities having their unique set of healthcare needs. To address this, the expert committee on tribal health headed by Dr. Abhay Bang was created, and this has led to the examination of how tribal people in India suffer from inequity in health and how this gap can be bridged. Over 4 years, the committee studied the health issues, culture around health and healthcare infrastructure present in tribal areas and sought potential ways forward through a consultative process with researchers, representatives of tribal people and other experts. And ultimately, the outcome of the result, the report Tribal Health in India, Bridging the Gap and a Roadmap for the Future. So this is the first of its kind in India. Let us see what are the findings of the report. The tribal communities face the triple burden of disease. Apart from high rates of malnutrition and communicable diseases like TB, leprosy, HIV, etc., the advent of rapid urbanization and changing lifestyles and environment, this has led to a rise in non-communicable diseases as well, like cancer, diabetes and hypertension. So these are both in addition to the burden of mental illness and subsequent addiction. Now let us see what are the factors identified by them in the report which are affecting the tribal health and nutrition. A significant gap highlighted in the report is the lack of healthcare professionals that are available to work with tribal communities. Healthcare professionals view postings in tribal areas as a punishment of sorts and are hesitant to go, much less stay there. With this in mind, the report emphasizes the need for a significant mindset change, but more importantly points to the opportunity that lies in motivating and training tribal people themselves to join the health force. If we work with the communities, we will find that tribal youth are an excellent resource and inducting them to healthcare will be more feasible, sustainable, and that is a long-term solution. The report also states that traditional healers within tribal communities should be recognized and utilized. There is no dearth of health-related folklore in tribal communities, and tribal people rely heavily on naturopathy using medicinal leaves, roots, fruits and seeds from their surrounding ecosystems. The lack of spirituality and emotionality in the modern healthcare system is a factor that sometimes keeps people away from the public health systems. Including traditional healers in healthcare programs could begin to address this issue. It is important to look at tribal health problems as separate and distinct, and clubbing them together with the issues faced in general by rural population negates the vastly different context within which tribal communities exist. The committee identified 10 health issues that affect tribal people disproportionately. These are malaria, nutrition, child mortality, maternal health problems, family planning and infertility, addiction and mental health issues, sickle cell disease, animal bites and accidents, low health literacy, and poor health of tribal children in ashram salas. These problems are specific to tribal communities, should be recognized as such, and then be addressed with the community in mind. Now, let us look at the research and data on tribal health. As mentioned earlier, there is dearth of data available on tribal health indicators. And so, moving forward, the committee outlines 4 principles that must underpin all research: respect for tribal culture, relevance to tribal communities, reciprocity through a two-way exchange of learning, and responsibility to ensure that the research being done has no adverse effects on the communities. The report is a resource and guide for anyone interested in tribal health, rights and policy making. The recommendations for improving the state of tribal health provides an in-depth understanding of the systemic changes as well as the mindset changes required for tribal health care to advance. Another factor, that is the diagnosis of tribal health. Tribal health in India suffers from following 10 burdens. Let us look at what are the burdens. First, communicable diseases. Maternal and child health problems and malnutrition still continue to prevail. Non-communicable disease including mental stress and addiction are rapidly increasing. Injuries to accidents, snake and animal bites and violence in conflict situations. Difficult natural conditions arising due to geographic terrain, distances and harsh environments. Worse social economic determinants, especially in education, income, housing, connectivity, water and sanitation. Poor quality and inappropriate healthcare services with low access and coverage, low outputs and outcomes. Severe constraints in health human resources at all levels. The professionals from outside are unwilling to serve in tribal areas, and the local potential human resource is not trained and utilized by the health system. The legitimate and needed financial share for tribal health is not allocated or used in most of the states. There is lack of transparent accounting of the actual expenditure on tribal health, lack of data monitoring and evaluation that masks all the above mentioned problems. Political disempowerment of tribal people from the individual to the national level that exacerbates these problems. There is a little inclusion of tribal people in the planning, priority setting and in execution. So these are the 10 burdens listed out by them. When we look at the diagnosis of tribal health, that reveals almost 7 decades after independence, and despite many constitutional provisions to safeguard their interests, the tribal population continues to suffer disproportionately from health problems, compounded by problems of healthcare access and quality. Yet the public health system, including infrastructure, human resources and governance in the tribal areas, remain inadequate. In more than half of the states with sizable tribal population, the healthcare infrastructure was 27 to 40% deficient in numbers compared to the NRHM population norms. The shortfall of male MPWs 49% and PHC doctors 33% and specialists at CHCs in tribal areas is incompatible with tribal cultural and belief systems, leading to low rate of acceptance. The organization of public health service delivery in tribal areas suffers from serious design flaws that affects its efficiency, efficacy and uptake. To conclude, it can be said that tribal people have the poorest health status and they carry a triple burden of disease. Moreover, despite the high reliance of the tribal people on the public healthcare system in scheduled areas, it continues to be characterized by low output, low quality and low outcome delivery system, often targeting wrong priorities. An important reason Behind this is the near complete absence of community participation in the planning, design and implementation of health services. Therefore, restructuring and strengthening of the public healthcare system in accordance with the needs and aspirations of tribal communities and with their full participation should be the highest priority for the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, both at the center and in the states. This means two things. One, that the health situation of the tribal population can be improved, and two, that as things stand today, a lot of work needs to be done. So there is need for urgent action.